In our few moments, I do want to talk about if we could each talk about what is going to be the big aha in 2021 for you, Judah, for you, Nick. I'm going to start. I'm going to say my big one is going to be, and I believe this, and I've said it throughout this fall, is that Gen Z is really going to take more of an active role based on what they learned in the social protest movements, not just in the U.S. but all, around the world. Gen Z has been leading the social justice movements, protests across the board, and I do think that global connections are going to continue to be made, despite antitrust efforts against Facebook and Google. They're going to be around. They're going to continue to link people, and as you said, Judah, as we come out of the pandemic, I think we're going to go back to where we were before, if not even further, because we've all been communicating online. There's been, as we talk about, this borderless internet. You're in the UK, I couldn't tell. Nobody can tell where you are. We're talking, we're having conversation. I think Gen Z is going to propel the foreign policy conversation, the doorstep conversation next year, in a more engaged way than we've seen before. That is my 2021 prediction. What about you?
I agree 100% with that. And well, no, not 100%, 90%. Because when you were talking about the younger generation and Gen Z, the first thing I thought is that they're the digital natives, right? Where I might diverge from you is that for me, I think the coming year and this whole period, I think what we'll look back on, perhaps even more than the pandemic, is the aha moment that tech is the genie that got out of the bottle, and what are we going to do about it? I'm not at all confident that 10 years from now, even 5 years from now, we'll have a borderless internet. People are talking a lot about a Splinternet, where you'll have a China-sourced, China-based system and a Western or a democratic-based system. Countries like Russia have their own, are putting up their own great firewalls. So I'm not as optimistic for a global internet. And I believe that the coming 5 years will really, historically, when we look back on it, be defined by the battle between government and big tech and society and big tech in terms of antitrust, regulation, democracy, misinformation, privacy, data privacy. I think that those key issues will be the battleground that will determine a number of trajectories for human society around the planet. And I'm not confident about a global internet. I'm not sure that the big tech companies, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, will necessarily survive in the form that we know them. I'm not 100% sure of that. I think that there's a huge gathering pressure to rein in the power that they have over our lives, because the more people learn, the more alarming it gets. That's my 2021 prediction.
So, well, just briefly, I want to piggyback off of two things that both of you said to inform my predictions for the future. And the first, Tatiana, from yours, is I do think 2021 is going to be the start of major political transitions, primarily generational. Um, there may be older generations hanging on. Say, I would assume Speaker Pelosi will be reelected, for instance, come January. But there's a point at which younger generations are poised to move in, and that's significant because, Judah, as you said, digital natives, generations that have grown up post Cold War with no memories, their views of the world aren't framed by that. And I think to see that Germany, when the transition happens there, we could be looking at the beginnings of a transition in Russia if some of these concerns about Putin's health turn out to be correct, that he may not be able to stay in power till 2036, as some people have assumed. So I guess that's the first. And then the second one, Judah, but this is a more pessimistic one, and coming off of your earlier comments, is the possibility that we could have an unintended clash in 2021. My worries are that as the Biden-Harris team gets settled, as they start to be more activist in the world, they're running up against other powers that have gotten used to America being pulled back. And it's that no one is looking for conflict, but it is that risk of the unintended conflict. We had that 20 years ago in 2001 with the EP3 incident between the U.S. and China. If that were to replay today with the change in relative power between the U.S. and China, it may not be it wouldn't be resolved in that same peaceful way. Perhaps it was resolved in April of 2001. So I guess my worry prediction for 2021 is the unintended crisis breaking out.